Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. We hear a lot about preparing children for school readiness, being ready when it's time to enter kindergarten, first grade. Well, today we're going to look at a program that's helping with early childhood development. And joining me, we have Stephanie Massey and Julie Chapple. And you are the Early Head Start Home-Based Education Services Supervisor and Early Head Start Home Visitor. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
I think we need to start off perhaps before the audience when we talk about Head Start. Kind of just a general overall definition for people as we set the tone today.
Okay. Well, Head Start is a federally funded program, and it gives us the ability to serve children 0 to 5, and to also work with their families on preparing the child for school.
Great. And you are representing economic security for here in the Southwest Missouri area, correct? And so what is your region that you're serving as people are watching today?
Well, we have the ability to serve Barton, Jasper, Newton, and McDonald County.
Okay, so right along the state line for that area. So as people are watching, if they don't live in that area, they could probably call and find out if similar programs offered on their state, outside of the state line or something.
Yes.
Trying that together. So we're talking about early Head Start. How does that differentiate? People have heard about Head Start for years, but what would define early? What do we mean by that?
Well, Head Start is divided into two programs. Of course, you have the Head Start program, which serves children in a center-based facility, and they serve children 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. But early Head Start, we have the ability to serve pregnant moms. So if they're a new mom or maybe a mom, this isn't her first child, she can enroll in our prenatal program option, and we're able to provide information and cover topics that are common amongst pregnancy, and we can also serve children 0 to 3 in our home-based program option.
So starting very young.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So Julie, you work with these parents and the children when they're newborns basically sometimes.
Yes, and we do have, like she said, a prenatal program also. So we can start with the mom as soon as they find out that they're having a little one, and we can help them with their prenatal care, making sure that they get to doctor's appointments. We have the ability to transport if we have some of our families that are not able to get to doctor's visits. We do the same thing with our children that are 0 to 3. We can get them to well child checks, we can get them to dental exams, things that some parents have a very difficult time doing in some of our areas.
Of course, with many programs, you obviously saw a need for this in the community.
Yes. I mean, we're required to maintain a full enrollment, and we've always maintained a full enrollment. We've never struggled. There's definitely a need in the community, and our agency is well versed in doing community needs assessment to see where the need lies. Right. And there's definitely a need for home visiting and child care services.
And of course, working with the word community, we're talking about many different communities. From Joplin, today we're recording in Joplin, but someone in Barton County and Newton County, their community might be a little bit different than Joplin, but they still have these needs.
Absolutely.
And tying that together, and there are people in those communities that can help them as well with these programs. Well, let's talk a little bit about the beginning of the program, how people might get involved. You say, you know, someone finds out they're expecting a child, so they can start as soon as they know they're expecting.
Yeah, they would just need to call one of our Head Start or Early Head Start facilities, and that information is listed on our website, and I believe it'll be shown on the show later today. But they would just need to contact a staff member, letting them know that they're interested in applying, and we would walk them through that process.
Right. So what do you see as some of the benefits for those prenatal home visits? You know, like you don't have a child yet, but you're working with the parent. How does that?
It helps to give that parent the best start for their child. We obviously have learned that the better medical care that they can get while they're pregnant, the better it's going to be for the child. But it also helps to prepare the parent for being a parent. Stephanie and I talked earlier today, and babies don't come with instruction manuals. And so, you know, it's kind of a guessing game at times, and we sometimes have very young moms that are in our program, and so to give them the best start that they can, we not only help them and prepare them through the pregnancy and what to expect at doctor's appointments, we deal with their health, their nutrition, getting them dental care, those types of things, but we can also start preparing the parent for what they're looking at as being a parent. And teaching them already how to make that connection with their child. The importance of already reading to your baby before they're even here. And just things that will already start helping that mother to build that connection with that baby. And then as they go through the program, our main goal is to encourage, to support, and to empower our parents. We want our parents, and we know that our parents are their child's first and best teacher. And so it's really, it's exciting as a home visitor to get to watch a parent be there and to support their child, and to learn what it is to have realistic expectations and what they're supposed to do. And our program does focus a lot on the educational attainment, and we obviously want them to be school ready, and we talk a lot about school readiness, and we have our assessments and we have our screenings. But another big part of our program is the whole family in general. And if you can't have a strong, supportive family, then it's really hard for a child to grow and develop like they're supposed to. So we build that connection with our families. When you go into a family and you go to work with a family, your goal is to have that family for 3 years, to be a part of that family, to be there to support them and to help them through whatever they may be going through. We deal with a lot of poverty families that deal with trauma that they may have had in the past, either as a child themselves or things that they may be going through as adults. And so by helping them to get through those things and to give them the resources, we have mental health specialists, we have health and nutrition specialists. Like I said, we have transportation that we can provide. There's so many services that we can provide to them to help the family to be healthy and strong so that their children can be healthy and strong. And if you can do that, then that is where a big part of that support and that strength comes from. And that's when you see a child succeed. When you've succeeded with the parents and with the families, you can watch the children as they progress and they succeed.
So really it's a whole unit that you're working with everyone together and so forth. And with today's changing society, we hear a lot about people move away. They don't have a mom close in town to help out. Somebody's expecting a child, there's nobody there to give them, quote, in the old days, someone would come over and help you. So they're perhaps, like you say, no instruction book. What do I do now?
Yeah, parenting is hard. I remember when I first became a parent, I went and I read a lot of materials and a lot of books, but when the twins arrived, I felt lost. I felt like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah, I've got these children, what happens?
Yeah, so I would have, looking back, I wish I would have known more about Early Head Start and the home visiting program, because I feel like I really, as a new mom, really utilized the services and just to have that support to help take me through the process of being a parent and having new children. And like Julie said, we're there to be a resource and a support.
But someone doesn't have to start prenatal. I mean, they can call you, my child's already 1 year old, I'd like to join this program, and get involved that way as well.
Yeah, as long as they fall between the ages of 0 to 3, they're age eligible for the program. And, we, like Julie mentioned, we do have screenings and assessments that we do to help us get to know the parent and to get to know the child. And then that allows us to know where to start from. What services we can provide, what information we can provide, and it kind of takes us along the process.
Well, do you find that a lot of parents may just have questions about what's, quote, normal child development? Someone hasn't had a child before, is it normal my child, they say in the book the child's supposed to do this at this age, how's my child doing, and so forth?
That is a big part of obviously our program. And you have parents that, I don't want them to be behind, or I want them, and so we do this at this age, exactly. And we do stress with the parent that children learn at their own level, and but we offer activities and things that the parents can do with the child to help them. We have a program that we will we not only have like a family goal where the family will decide as a family what kind of a goal that they want to meet, but we have child development goals. So the parent can say, I really, really, really want to see my baby crawl. Well, we know as educators that it takes several different steps to get to that point. So it's kind of fun to be able to go back and say, okay, well, before they can crawl, we have to get them up on their hands and knees, and we have to do this. And so the parent gets to see the whole process of getting them from that very first, I'm laying flat on the floor, to up and actually moving around. So they start to understand what realistic expectations are. And it's really exciting, not only for the parent, but for us too. When the parent, I mean, I'll get phone calls like at 7 o'clock in the evening. Guess what? He took 2 steps. You know, I mean, they're super excited because you've built that relationship with them, and they know that you're going to be as excited as they are in that. But another part of our program is we have what we call socialization. Sometimes they'll call them play groups. And that is something that where we get together twice a month, and the parents can come, and we'll have like activities that we may be doing. We may be talking about their social and emotional development. We may be talking about fine motor skills, and we'll have activities set up for the parents to do with the children. But what is amazing about this is that all these parents get together.
So they're interacting with each other.
Yes, so they're interacting. You've got little ones that may not have siblings or have older siblings, and so now they're all getting to interact and to play. And you know, when this one hits this one, you can say, "It's okay, Mom. You know, that's normal. That's what they're supposed to do." But it's wonderful to see them support one another and to be able to ask, you know, well, mine's 2 now. Should I be potty training? How did you do? You know, and we laugh. There's been tears, you know, I mean, it's just a wonderful connection that these families have not only made with us, but they've made with each other. And then, like I said, the connections with the kids are just, I mean, wonderful to get to watch, because a lot of them wouldn't normally get that until they were possibly 3, maybe not even until they were 5, going into kindergarten. So it's wonderful to get to see that support.
And I know we've heard a lot about the area school districts emphasizing early childhood preparation, because they're going to get the children when they reach that school age. And so, are you getting positive feedback from the schools who say, we're hoping this is going to make a difference when they reach that kindergarten door as they're walking in?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest concerns that we hear from receiving schools is maybe the child's not socially and emotionally ready. And by providing the socializations and then the ongoing experiences in the home, we're able to work on that and talk to the parent and create those experiences to help them be more socially and emotionally ready for school. And something cool about our program is, not every child that comes into the program may not be where they should be, but with services and support that the home visitors provide, our data shows that we've met those expectations and exceeded them. All the children that have been enrolled in our program have been at 90% or above age expected level, meaning that they're ready for school whenever it comes time. So there's definitely
there's data to prove that it's working.
It's working. Right. Yes.
Tying it together.
Well, and we can find those kids that are struggling and get them help early. So if we go and we do assessments, and then we do have an ongoing assessment that we're continually looking at their development and making sure, and if we find that they're not developing physically or through language, then we can get in contact with First Steps, which is who we use with Early Head Start. But it helps to give them a better chance if they do have a disability, if we can get it.
Identifying it early, so you can use those community resources then to help them and prepare that. And so forth. So a lot of ways it's educating the parents without having to read books and do things, look at videos and stuff, for your hands-on education and experience for the parents. And the children, of course, also interacting. I can see where there's different stages they go through. Like you said, somebody can say, what age do you potty train? What age do they do this? There's a lot of things that, those transitional moments that parents probably may not know about if they haven't had that experience before. And so when you're visiting in the homes, people might be curious, well, what's a home visit like? Just kind of, you knock on the door, just kind of without getting into details, a typical home visit if you were going to go visit a family, just what you would consider.
I don't know that our home visits are ever typical. I am going to say that when you have 8, 10, 12 families, needs are so different in each category. But basically, you're going to come in. Your main thing is, you're hoping that you have already built that connection with that family. If not, you start out trying to build that connection. So you have an initial
visit, obviously, at one point.
And some of that starts even on the phone. You know, when we're talking, and it's like, well, how are things going? You know, what are your expectations of the program? What are you wanting from me? How can I help you? So when you go in, say it's right off the bat, you're trying to build from what they've said. You take that in there, yes. You go over the fact that what we're discussing and what we're talking about is between us. If there's anything that that they want to share with you, that it will go no further. So you have that confidentiality, that trust that is built with the families. And you have to have that. They have to know that you're there for them, and that they can trust you with what. And you hear a lot of stuff.
A lot of variety. I imagine,
exactly. So. Then you would do some child development stuff. You would go over, a lot of times we'll bring activities. We have a lesson plan that we will set out, and we'll go through their book that shows where they're supposed to be in each area of development, and we'll pick from those where activities that they need to be doing. And so we will take either things into the home, or if there are things that they would already have in the home. We like to try and use things that the parents already have, because then it's something that they can continue to do with them while we're gone. So then we would just go over why we're doing the activity, what types of things can come, like I was talking about, getting them up on their knees, that kind of thing. It can be as simple as that. It can be as simple as we're going to stand them up and they're going to hold both fingers, or we're going to see if we can get them to take one step with both fingers, one step with one finger, So there's just different things that you would go through, and you would talk about why you're doing it and what it's going to build on. So then we have our section that would be like our resources or referrals. If we know that a family has an issue with needing to get on food stamps, or they don't have medical insurance and they need medical insurance, we would discuss those kinds of things.
You're meeting those other needs, or showing them how to get the resources to help
bring in applications and help them to fill those out, mail those out for them if they need us to. If they're trying to find a medical doctor or a dental doctor, sitting there and going through the different doctors that may be in the area that would be helpful to them. So it's just helping support wherever they're needing at that specific time, and knowing that you can go in with a whole curriculum and a whole lesson plan, and this is what we're going to do, and it may not go anywhere like that.
You had another thing to deal with that time.
If something comes up, if you have a mom that was just cut off from her food stamps and she doesn't know where she's going to get food for her kids, you focus on that, and you focus on trying to find those referrals right then and trying to get them the help. If you have a mom who's never been on WIC and doesn't know how to use her vouchers, then you go and get the van and you take her to the grocery store and you show her how to use her WIC vouchers. I mean, you do whatever it's going to take to help that family so that they can get on their feet and do what they need to. Because if the parents are in the right frame of mind and they're where they need to be, then they can focus on where their child needs to be.
I can see with their minds on other worries and other concerns, they're not going to say, I don't have time right now to worry about my child sitting up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Child development doesn't stop. I know things come up and situations occur, but that child is still developing during those things. And so I think just being mindful of that and helping parents process through that, but also becoming observers of their child during those experiences. So
now, you mentioned food stamps or WIC and so forth. Do you give advice or tips on what to do when you have those opportunities to get some food, as far as nutrition perhaps? What's the proper nutrition for childhood and so forth?
Yes, we have a health and nutrition coordinator that helps us with a lot of that stuff. A lot of times we'll do recipes and things that you can buy. I've even taken like what WIC gives out and tried to find recipes and things that would go with that to help the parents so that they would know how to best use their WIC vouchers.
How am I going to use that?
Exactly. We do budgeting classes if a parent wants to look at where the money's going and how they can, better save or make sure that they have the money that they need for the bills and the essentials that they have. We can do budgeting classes with them. We've done that before. So we make sure that whatever referrals that we're giving them, that we can help to back that up with whatever information that they need to help with those.
Great. So you're talking prenatal to 3 years old, or under 3, then they transition on to the Head Start program. So do you have a lot of children? Have you seen a lot of children trying to graduate to the next phase?
Yeah, we've seen several families graduate. And what's also cool about early Head Start is that we support them through that process. We actually start at 30 months and kind of walk them through what to expect before they turned 36 months. So then that way, maybe if Head Start's not the appropriate placement, but maybe early childhood is a better fit because the child has disabilities. We can walk through those steps and make sure that the parent feels prepared and planned. We've even taken the parent and the child to tour the facilities.
So it's not like you're on your own now.
Exactly. Well, when the only experiences they've had is maybe having meals at home, having meals in a school is a lot different. And so just introducing that slowly, I think it helps parents feel a little more okay about letting their child go. And so supporting them through those transitions and getting them enrolled in Head Start is definitely one of the things we like to do.
You have your website to, I think, let people recognize that, and then talk about the process of how they apply. What's the process of becoming part of the program. We've called up the page, I guess this is your page right here, Early Head Start.
Yeah, really they just would need to contact or visit one of our Head Start or Early Head Start facilities to apply. There is some information that they would have to bring in. If they're applying for one of our center-based programs, then they would have to bring in proof of the immunizations, proof of birth, and then being federally funded, we would require some income documentation. So those are a few things that we would ask the parent to bring in and provide in order to complete an application. Right.
So they apply, and then you have sites all throughout the region. Is it based on what's the space available at those sites, or how? As far as you have sites going out to the homes with, so many people through each area, each office.
Yeah, each home visitor and each Head Start facility has a number of children that we can serve at one time. But then, kind of how we talked about earlier, if we ever have an opening, maybe a family moves or they graduate, so to speak, we would automatically pull from our waiting list to fill that spot, so we would stay fully enrolled. So once they apply and they're approved for the program, they would just wait for an opportunity and a slot to become available, and then we kind of go from there.
So do you recommend, I guess, apply early? Don't wait until the last minute to say I'd like to be in this program?
Yeah, I think that one of the misconceptions that's out there is you can only apply maybe in the summertime right before school starts. In Head Start and Early Head Start, that's not really the case. You can apply year-round. So anytime, whether it be February, March, November, we're always taking applications. We want to serve the most in need. So feel free to contact us at any time to complete an application, and we would be happy to work with you and partner with them.
Now, does Early Head Start follow a school calendar year type program, or are you doing things in the summertime as well?
We are 12 months out of the year.
Our Early Head Start program is year-round. Our Head Start facilities do follow the school district to where they're only August to May.
But you'll be visiting people in July and June when the kids are out of school.
And we're doing water play and playing,
so you have summer activities
in sprinklers.
For them.
Yes.
Right. Well, I know, Julie, we're talking about working with the children. What do you enjoy the most, working with the families and the children? You have a chance to go to their homes and see the difference it makes with the children.
I think just what you said, it makes a difference. And knowing that you're doing something that makes a difference means a lot to me. I've worked as a home visitor for 20 years. I was a parent educator with Parents as Teachers, and then I've been with Early Head Start for 8 years. And so I've done home visiting for a long time. And it's exciting to see, like I said, the kids learning new things all the time, but it's also exciting to see the families succeed. When you see that they meet a goal that they've been working really hard towards, or you see a breakthrough with a family that struggled growing up and they didn't have the best role models as parents, and yet they're determined to be better parents and to be there for their kids, and you watch them succeed. It's amazing. It just really is. It's amazing.
Well, Stephanie, it must be really nice to hear that from a home visitor, but as the supervisor as well, that the people you have in the community doing the hands-on work are really investing in the people that they're working with.
Oh yeah, the home visitors make the job. They are so passionate and caring and compassionate about the community and the parents that they serve. So they make what I do fun.
And as a supervisor, then you are looking throughout this whole area, then supervising what's happening throughout. Explain a little bit of your role, what you're doing as supervisor. I
have 11 home visitors spread out amongst the 4 counties that we serve. So there's a little bit of traveling involved, but it's neat to kind of see some of the things that the home visitors in Joplin may be experiencing, maybe the same things that my home visitors in McDonald County are experiencing. They're totally different counties, but they maybe experience the same thing. So seeing them connect and network and learn from each other is kind of a neat experiences. Or maybe there's a situation that they've never come across before, but another home visitor has. Seeing them work together, even though they're completely different counties, they're still a team. So it's kind of exciting to see.
So you're able to visit with the other home visitors, basically, or keep in touch and network with them, what's happening in their communities and what they're working with, and tying that together. So when someone calls you on the phone and says, "I'd like to be part of this program. I watched it on TV. What can I do?" What would you say is the biggest benefit for that parent to have their child? I guess the selling pitch, if somebody were to say, "Well, should I join this?"
Do you want to answer that, or?
I don't. There's so much. I just feel like there's so much to this program. It's hard to just put it down to a few things. I just feel like as a parent, it's so important to have that support and to have someone there saying, "You're doing a great job," and to keep up. And when they're struggling and when they're having a hard time, to know that there's someone there with them to help them to get through that. I think that, to be honest, is probably the most important thing to me. The education part of it is extremely important, but I think that comes when you can be there with that parent and you can help them and you can support them. It just all falls into place, and I think that's another great thing about this job is to watch it all just fall into place. You can feel like it's this puzzle and you're never going to get this puzzle back together, and in the end it does all go back together.
And having worked with home visits for a number of years, have you had a chance to see some of the students or youngsters that you dealt with when they were young, now they're succeeding in school?
Yes, well, and especially since I've gone back 20 years, I have ones that I saw having little ones, and so I feel really old, but it's wonderful to see that it is making a difference in the kinds of parents that they're becoming too, and to know that their parents took the time to do those kinds of things and to invest in their children, and now to see these young parents that I had when they were little investing in their own kids is extremely rewarding.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for visiting today, providing some information about the Early Head Start program, and we provided some links. I know you have a website, as we showed, for more information. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thank
you for having us.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.